am once again in the back of a minivan. I haven't even made it to my first game store, and I've already made my first pickup. We got this large bin of new in-box Skylanders. Looks like mostly Swap Force era. Got some Light Core, Warnado, Big Bang Trigger Happy, Horn Blast Whirlwind. But there are a few Eon's Elite figures in here as well. So, not all bad there. But now it's time to go in and see what Disc Replay has to offer. Disc Replay in Naperville, Illinois. We've been here before, but it's close by. So it's one of those that's just going to be a regular from time to time. I feel like this was a pretty standard stop for this location. Nothing super crazy off the charts, but always something to pick up. So we did pick up one game this time, Imaginators for the Xbox One, and then 6 figures because it's buy 5, get the 6th for free. So we got a Hurricane Jetvac, Deep Dive Gill Grunt, Lava Lance Rupture, Sharkshooter Terrafin. Someone apparently just dropped off a bunch of superchargers, grabbed the burn cycle as well, and then I guess my freebie would have been the Empire of Ice. Not something I would usually pick up, but I'm like, it's gonna be free, whatever I pick up, and it was the next best thing there. So we got an Empire of Ice. Solid stop, we'll take it. Got something at least. Their stock is rotating from last time I was there. There was new stuff there, and some of the stuff that was there last time is gone, so it's good to see that they're constantly getting in new stock and still selling stuff to people other than me. Day 2. Well, we made it up into Michigan this time and made our first big pickup. Starting to fill up back there. I'm going to have to do some rearranging, I believe, to make sure we can continue to fit everything in there and start stacking stuff. First layer of the car is just about complete. They got a bunch of Skylanders, a bunch of portals, bunch of games, a lot of good stuff that'll be coming to the shop in the next few weeks if it's not already there. Now, while we're in Michigan, it's time to do some hunting. Last time I was here, I said I don't know what's up with Michigan folk, but they're just leaving their Skylanders in the stores. I had some very good luck here, so we'll see if that holds true today. I'm checking out a bunch of Disc Replays and at least one other game store that I discovered. We'll see if they actually have Skylanders or not, but it's right on my path, so we're gonna see what we can find. Unfortunately, we're off to a little bit of a slow start today. There was one Skylanders figure in there and it was damaged, so that wasn't anything. They did have a bunch of games. Some of them were priced all right, but some were very, very questionable. I don't know where they were getting their pricing. Like, even if it was like, oh, we're going to include a portal and some starter pack figures with it or something, which I don't, unless they had them in back or something like that. Even then, the price seemed high to me. So I'm not entirely sure what some of those prices were about. But I did still pick up a few games because it is disc replay, and they always have their buy 5, get the 6th free deal. So picked up a bunch of Wii U stuff, 3 Superchargers, 2 Swap Force, and 1 Giants. So we'll get those cleaned up for you and get them into the shop and head to the next store where we hope we can find some better selection, or at least some figures. On to the next shop, we have the new store. It is not a disc replay. This one, I believe, is called Retro Taku Video Game. It's definitely a unique name. I can't say I've ever been to this store before, and I've never heard of it. So we'll check it out and see if we find any Skylanders. That was a quirky little store. You walk in and it looks like just one tiny room, but don't let that deceive you. The store is actually much larger. Follow the yellow arrows on the floor. It's kind of a maze, but there's a lot of stuff in that store actually. And so we did end up picking up a few games. This stack of them here. 3 copies of Spyro's Adventure for the Wii, Swap Force for the PS3, and Superchargers for the PS3. We got all those plus 1 healing elixir. So just a few things. They did mention they had a sale going on when I got up to the register. I think it was like buy one get one free for things $4.95 or less or something like that. So I think I got 2 of the games for free, actually. All of their games that I looked at least as far as Skylanders games go, they were very fairly priced, so I can't complain there. I'll take sales any day of the week. Made it to the next disc replay location tonight. I had to go a little bit of a roundabout way. This parking lot seems to be under construction, but we got here nonetheless, and we'll see what we find in this store today. That was pretty disappointing. They had figures, yes. It's pretty picked over. Almost all starter pack figures, except for like a few random chop chops. Like there's a series 1, series 3, and a series 2 in there actually. But yeah, I had trouble even coming up with 4 figures to use the buy 3 get 1 free sale. So I had to pass on that. Games were the games for the Wii would have been okay, but some of the other games, the few that I found, seemed a little overpriced. And even Portals, I've noticed that a lot today actually. Portals have gone up, it feels like. Most of them starting at like $8, and a lot of them marked at like $12 or even $20. And they're not like Xbox One portals or anything. So I'm not sure exactly why they're getting marked up like that. If they can sell them, more power to them, I guess. Well, I've made it to what I believe is the final stop of the evening. One more disc replay location, fairly close to my hotel, so even if they don't have anything, even if their prices are marked up, we gotta stop by and check it out. Seriously, what happened to Spyro's Adventure? Even worse, what is going on? And then that one, okay, these have to be mislabeled. Because, yeah, that's much more reasonable. I don't know what's going on here. After a relatively disappointing day, that was a solid way to finish the night. I will say that. I did pick up that one Traptanium portal I showed earlier for the 360. We got another stack of games here. 3 copies of Spyro's Adventure for the 3DS. They had a ton of those, so I grabbed a bunch. Superchargers for the Xbox One, Giants for the Wii U, and Spyro's Adventure for the Wii. Then I did end up picking up some figures as well. They didn't have the prices listed out there, but I assume they'd probably be similar to other stores. It looked like they were definitely $3.99 a piece. So once again, a little bit higher than I want to pay, but they appeared to be the same as the last store that was doing buy 3, get 1 free, where I didn't buy any. So I got, I think, 2 of them for free then, and that definitely helps out the price. Because otherwise, like, I would not normally pay $4 a piece for these. But, okay, we got a little discount. But pretend these are the free ones. We also picked up a Series 2 Zook, a Series 3 Chop Chop, a Series 1 Igniter, and a Series 1 Chop Chop. And then, after digging for a very long time, I was able to piece together one swapper here, Night Shift. And then I did what I've done before. Like, I'm convinced the other halves aren't there, so I don't feel bad about doing this. But we got a free Drilla, so I picked up 2 halves, basically. And hopefully, I think we have some of these halves. Like, I think we have a Ranger bottom, so I can make that one. And then, I don't know about Grilla, but we'll look into it and see what we can put together. And find some homes for these halves that were just otherwise sitting in a bin, lost. Late Saturday morning, sitting in a parking lot, waiting for game stores to open. This is my life right now. But our first stop today, actually, I don't think we have any chain stores to my knowledge, but we are looking at Red's Retro here in Toledo. We have a couple more stores here, or at least one more store, and then we're going to head south and kind of check out Western Ohio. I've done a lot of Eastern and some Central Ohio, but haven't really explored the Western side too much. But that's what we're sticking to today. Or maybe not. Google tells me that they're supposed to open at 11:30 a.m. on Saturdays, but it's 11:44 and the door is still locked. So I don't know if they're opening up later or if they're not opening at all or what the case is here. I did kind of wonder. The parking lot seems very empty. I didn't see any sign of people in or around, so I guess we'll move on to our next location, and if we have time, maybe we can come back here, but I'm I think I'm running on a pretty tight schedule today once we get into the swing of things. Like I said earlier, we got a few more stores to visit. I also have one meetup to make today. It's a smaller meetup, but I'll take whatever I can get. Grab lunch here in the Toledo area. Still wasting a little bit of time waiting for my next game store to open. The shops in Toledo here seem to keep some of the strangest hours, but I have some time to waste, and right across the street from the Chick-fil-A that I ate at was Goodwill. So we're going to check this out. I haven't been inside a Goodwill in, many months, if not years at this point, simply because the Goodwill locations in my town, they don't put Skylanders out on the shelves anymore. Like they either sell them online or ship them off to a different store or something like that. I haven't been to a Goodwill in a very long time, but I figured we have time. It's right here. Let's see if it's worthwhile or not. Man, that's even worse than I remember my Goodwill being. It's that I don't know if it's just this store or if this is the direction that Goodwill's going these days, but at least 75% of that store was clothing, which I'm definitely not interested in. And the other stuff was just, either really picked over or just nothing there. A full aisle of CDs and DVDs, I can't do anything with that. I didn't see any games, very few toys. Not a good place for Skylanders right now, apparently. Here I am, sitting in my car, waiting for secret level video games and toys to open. It's been a slow start this morning, but I have better hopes for this shop because it was actually recommended to me by a member of the community and said they should have Skylanders here. So the only thing is they keep some of the strangest hours that I've ever seen for a game store. Today they open at 1 p.m. I think they close at 6, so they're only open 5 hours. During the week, I think they open at 11, so they're actually open longer during the week than on the weekends, which is usually the reverse for game stores. But it is what it is, and I still got 16 minutes to wait. That was officially the best stop that we've had this whole trip. This is what I picked up. We got a Xbox One portal, Swap Force Xbox One portal there. We'll absolutely take that. There was a Cortex in the case, I might have shown you earlier. But then I found the bins. And as I was looking through and picking stuff out, they brought me out 3 other boxes of Skylanders that they had. And I didn't have to pay $100 to see them. But I got to go through those and find some more stuff. So you can see the prices are all over the place, and some of their pricing, they would have the same figures listed at different prices, and so I only picked up some of them. But yeah, absolutely a place to go for Skylanders. There's still some good deals there, some stuff that's under market value, like under my prices, but it was too close to my price to pick up. So absolutely check out Secret Level Games. Great little store, even if you're not in it for Skylanders. Just other video games, retro video games, and stuff like that. It seems it might be a family-owned store type of deal, but plenty of selection. And for how small it is, I was surprised like how many Skylanders they had. So I am thrilled with this stop. Thank you for the recommendation. I will be back if I'm ever passing through this area to check them out again. But if you are in the Toledo area, I absolutely recommend checking out Secret Level Video Games and Toys. One more pickup in the books. Nothing super crazy. Few games, Portal, bunch of figures at a good price. This is the type of lot that, like, it might be tough to make a deal if we had to ship this, but since I can meet up with them, I can pay in cash, and we don't have to worry about shipping costs, we can make these deals here. So thank you once again, and we're on to our next shop. Next up, I'm at Game Runners, a game store just down the road from my last pickup. It was actually recommended to me by the people I bought the figures from. Community recommendations, typically pretty good, but there's only one way to find out for sure. Got to go inside and see what they have to offer. So Game Runners it's a nice little local shop. They have a great selection, not only of Skylanders, but of just toys and collectibles in general. So it's one of those places you could just go and browse for probably a few hours, honestly, to actually look at everything that they have in there. But as far as Skylanders and prices, I mean, they were fair. I can't argue with them too much. Many of them were like close to or at or slightly above my prices. It felt like they probably use price charting to price their figures, which doesn't really work so well for Skylanders, at least not the more common figures. I just wasn't able to pick anything up here. But thank you once again for the recommendation. For anybody that's local who is looking to pick up figures, like I said, the prices are fair. They're not too obscene. But they're in the range where I can't buy any of them. Are you seeing this back here? I know it's really tiny right now. I'll walk up to it in a minute, but I don't care if they have Skylanders or not. We need to visit this shop. You see that? You see that? This is my store. go. Pretty good experience overall. It's a nice little shop. Once again, toys, collectibles, a variety of things. But they did indeed have Skylanders, which was a pleasant surprise because I didn't know if they would going into this one. This is when I looked up on Google and found the shop, and I'm like, okay, Matt's, what is it? Matt's Games and Collectibles, or Games, Collectibles, and More, established in 2019. I had to stop by and see what that's about. So glad to see that they do have Skylanders. Their selection was okay, but unfortunately a lot of the figures were damaged in some form or fashion. The prices were decent, and I don't know if they reflected some of that damage or if that's just their normal pricing anyway. It's worth checking out if you're local, I guess. A few games as well. I did pick up 2 games. We got Giants on the PS3 and Spyro's Adventure on the 360. So 2 games to add to the pile there, but that's all from this location. I have 2 more shops I'm going to visit tonight. I think they're both game exchange locations that I've been to before, and it's just one of those things that even if I've been to them before, we're going to keep checking them out because you never know what can change. Made it to the first game exchange location of the trip here in Lexington, Kentucky. We'll hit another one yet tonight, assuming it's not too late, but I've been here multiple times before. I don't know if all of the trips were recorded or not, but this is one of those locations that's just starting to feel familiar to me. So we'll see what they have today. Well, no luck today. Found a handful of games and a handful of figures, but nothing worth picking up today. That's the store, although I believe at one point I did find, man, it was either like Pinata or Enigma or something like that. So like I have found good stuff here before for sure, but today, not the day for Skylanders. Last stop of the evening. One more game exchange. Hopefully it's better than the last one, but we'll find out together. I thought this was going to be a good one, and then everything just kind of flopped. I started looking at the games first, found a case for the Xbox One Trap Team, but it turns out they didn't actually have that game. Apparently they have an employee at the store who has regularly been selling the games without the discs, or the games without the cases. And so then the cases are left on the shelf and they don't have the games to sell anymore, which seems really weird to me. Like who is he selling them to? That they're just like requesting the games and not taking the case? Or why would you intentionally want to buy the game without the case if the case is right there? Like, I don't fully understand that, but apparently it's not the first time it's been happening. Like both employees were kind of commiserating over this happening again. So I did still pick up a copy of Trap Team for the Wii, but weirdly, I couldn't find a single Skylanders figure in the store. There were games for multiple consoles, more than what I had picked up and everything. There were Portals, and then there were Disney Infinity figures. Like, that's usually right where they would be. And I looked through the rest of the store just to make sure, but I mean, there wasn't even a Ninja Stealth Elf or a Trigger Happy or anything to be found Skylanders wise, and that just feels really, really weird to me. I don't know if someone came in and cleaned them all out or if they removed them from the store in some other form or fashion, but I couldn't find any figures, so I couldn't pick up any figures. It's time to call it a night because tomorrow I have a lot of driving, but I also have a lot of pickups to make. I believe I'm meeting up with 3 different people tomorrow, which means I don't know if I'll have time to hit too many stores. We'll see how that plays out. There are 1 or 2 along my path that I could potentially stop at, but it will depend heavily on how much time I have and if the stores are still open by the time I get to them. We'll call it a night there, and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. It's roughly 6 a.m. I shouldn't be up, but I have a long day of driving today. I think somewhere in the realm of 12 hours of road time. Well, at least that's what Google tells me right now. That's not accounting for any traffic or construction or accidents or anything else that may occur throughout the day. So I'm going to get started. Well, I just made my first pickup of the day after 8, almost 9 hours in the car. And it's pretty good. Pretty good. I have this little bag of guys who's going to ride up front with me. Don't want them to get smashed. But we also got this entire bag of goodies. New in box, most of them intact yet. There are a few that have loose backings and such, but if you take a close look, there's some good stuff in there for sure. So we'll get all that unpacked at some point, but it might be the easiest pickup I've ever had to like inspect and see, make sure everything's there. It actually included a few extras, but clear bag helps out a lot. What do you know? Made the second pickup of the day, and as you can maybe see behind, we basically completed the second level of storage in the van, if you want to call it that. It's this pickup was maybe half loose, half in box. So good stuff for everybody overall. We will definitely be putting a lot of this on our Whatnot Wednesday auctions. So if you're not already signed up for Whatnot, be sure to either click the link in the description below or the QR code on the screen and get signed up, because there's going to be some good stuff coming. You won't want to miss it. Well, it got a little late last night, so I didn't get to show you immediately, but we did make our third pickup, rearranged a bit, and started the third level of stacking Skylanders here. And we got some good stuff. We got some good stuff. Some interesting stuff, including some stuff that we've never had before in the shop. So that will be interesting to see how that goes, because it's not necessarily traditional figures either. Today we have a few meetups to make, a few shops to stop at along the way. Most of them we've been to before. Actually, all of them I think we've been to before. So our first stop is going to be McKay's in Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll see what they have in store for us today. Not a bad little stop to start the day. We got 3 copies of Spyro's Adventure for the PS3. Series 1 Prison Break. Figure selection wasn't stellar today. And then 1 Traptanium Portal for the Xbox 360. So portals here were only 95 cents, so I can't pass that up. Everything else, not bad, but not great. We'll keep moving on and see what else we find today. Made it to McKay's number 2 over in Nashville here for 2 reasons, actually. One, I am meeting up with another community member to grab some Skylanders from them. And then, we're at McKay's. We might as well go check them out, see what they have in stock today, if anything. So we'll do both of those and get back to you soon. Just met up with Mason and got this little box of goodies. Blastertron there is the big one. A few other Imaginators, Trap Masters, one of my favorites, Cobra Cadabra. So a few things there. He tossed in a few painted figures as well that will either auction off or that might end up in the damaged mystery boxes or something like that. But there's another painted one. So we'll see what happens with those. But good little deal there. Then since I was meeting Mason at McKay's already, I had to go inside and found a few things there as well. I talked to Mason beforehand, who had checked out the store earlier in the day, and said, yeah, they got a few things that they don't usually have. And yeah, this was the first time in a long time that I actually had to dig through the Skylanders bin. Like, it was deep enough to actually dig and see what was available. So nothing crazy, just kind of standard stuff that these SSA figures in particular, like Bash and Lightning Rod and Zap and Boomer, like I've been finding we've been selling out of those more regularly. So it's a little bit above what I want to pay for these figures for how cheap we sell them. But since I know we're selling out of them regularly, I want to try to keep them in stock as much as possible so we can get them in your collections. Well, I'm here in Nashville. I want to make one more quick stop at Totally Rad Toys and Collectibles or something along those lines. No, Toy Emporium. That's what it's, Emporium. Yeah. In any case, last time I was here, they do have Skylanders. At least one of the vendors was stocking Skylanders at the Emporium here. And so I want to check in and see if they restocked or if any other Skylanders have made their way into the shop. We will find out together. But if you haven't already checked out this place, I recommend it. Well, at least I did. We'll see if that still holds true. Skylanders are still there. I can still recommend them. Everything, though, either right at or right above my pricing, so I can't pick up anything today, unfortunately. The selection seemed similar to last time. I recognized a few of the items, but there may have been a couple of new ones in there. I'd have to go back and watch the old video to see for sure. Worthwhile checking out if you're in the Nashville area, for sure. Made my final pickup of the day, and it may just be my favorite. Box full of Tree Rex. And a box full of Food Fight. I'll explain more in a minute. Trying something a little bit different today. Not many stores at all necessarily. Exploring a little bit more of the flea market side of things. Some of these I've seen signs for before, like this first one here. Me and my sister's flea market in Shelbyville, Indiana, southeastern Indiana. And I've been told that there's someone here selling Skylanders. So we'll see if that holds true. But that kind of goes for most of the places I'm stopping today. They were recommended to me by community members. So hopefully. last bin. In like the last booth. I almost missed it. I had to come back a second time. Let's see what's in here. Alright, starter pack figures. They ask at least. $10. It's like $10 per bag. Yeah. If you can find a good bag, that could be worth it. $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying Gig Speed package from the company with over 99.99% damaged figures and starter pack figures. I don't know that we're gonna find anything in here. Possibility number 1. Company merch. Possibility number 24. The latest software. So the outside of this building, I thought I might not have the right place. I wasn't sure if they're open or still in business or whatever, but they definitely are. I found some pictures on Google, and I mean, they showed it when it was in little less disrepair. Inside though, it's much cleaner and well organized than most flea markets that I've been to, honestly. I would recommend checking it out if you're in the area. We did find that one small bin of Skylanders, and I mean, they wanted $10 a bag, so it's like $10 for, is usually 3, 4, or 5 figures. So not awful pricing, except that almost all the figures were either starter pack figures or had some kind of damage. Now, if that doesn't bother you, then you could get some decent deals there. Like there was a head rush in there, but one of her horns was messed up. Some other like Chop missing an arm, or just various issues like that. And so for me, a damaged figure, you know, I sell it in a damaged mystery box for 99 cents, basically for $1. We do 30 for 30. And so they're not worth that much to me. There were indeed Skylanders there. It took me a long time to find them because it was just that one small bin down on the ground with other stuff sitting on top of it that I didn't notice my first run through the shop. It was the last booth I looked at on my second time through the shop that I finally found the Skylanders. So they are there. If you go to this store, if you go to the flea market, you go in the door, take a sharp left, and go all the way to the corner. It's the booth right on the end of the aisle there. But yeah, it's limited selection, and like I said, mostly damaged or starter pack figures, but there are some here. Made it to another flea market, antique mall type of place here in Indiana, southern Indiana. This was actually a recommendation from the folks that I'm going to meet up with next and buy some Skylanders from. So they've told me they've seen Skylanders here before. So once again, we're gonna dive in and see what we can find. It's a little bit of a hunt sometimes because these flea markets, antique malls can be vast spaces with tons of booths, and you just don't know where to start looking sometimes. Random end cap means random Skylanders. Is that 1080? Yeah, I'll have to pass on that. This place is so massive that in addition to having, booth numbers and everything, they have maps, "You Are Here" stickers, and these customer service phones located at various points throughout the place. I'm maybe halfway through the store. I love showcases like these. Brightly lit, easy to see what's in there. Got Legos there, some video game and Pokemon cards. You can't really see them, but they're there. Got another video game booth here. I feel like we're getting close. Feels like there should be someone just stock a whole case like this full of Skylanders. If there's not, it's a missed opportunity. Another testament to how big this place is. I have a rest area. Someone selling yo-yos. They're renting a case to sell yo-yos. Where's the Skylanders? Enchanted Elven Forest. Honestly, a little disappointing. I mean, I loved the antique mall, the flea market overall. Great vibes, well lit, clean, organized, plenty of employees, all that stuff. As far as what I'm looking for, it was disappointing. I was kind of shocked how few even just video games there were in the entire place. There, like I said, those 1 or 2 showcases that I found that I think I got on camera, half a dozen Skylanders and very few video games. So I think there's room for improvement here for someone to step in and maybe offer some stuff that isn't currently offered here. Just made my only scheduled pickup for today. Grabbed a few more figures. I said just a small lot, but like it was on my way home basically, on my path, so I didn't really have to travel out of the way to meet up with them for this one. So happy to do so. And we actually met at a disc replay, or outside a disc replay and a GameStop. Maybe we'll check out both and see how that goes. I don't expect anything from GameStop, but can never hurt to check, I suppose. I remember this store now. Figure selection definitely not worth it. Did pick up 2 games though, Giants and Superchargers, so we'll add those to the stack and keep moving on. Well, on my way to my next game store that was recommended to me, I drove past another disc replay. So let's go check that out. I have been to this store before. From what I recall, it's usually been pretty good, but it's been many, many months, if not over a year, since I've been here. I haven't driven through the Indianapolis area as much recently. At first glance, I thought that was going to be a bust. Maybe pull out 2 or 3 figures, but after some searching and finding more Skylanders underneath the Disney Infinity figures in the second bin, it turns out this might just be our best stop of the day. So we got a little bit of everything. We got the 3DS Swap Force Portal, we got few Giants figures, including a Hex that's actually intact, Hot Dog with his tail intact. There's another one with a broken off tail. Some SSA figures, which are great because here they're 99 cents for SSA figures, so we pick up a ton of those all the time. But even some swappers, was able to find both halves digging through those bins. So great deal here, great prices, decent selection actually, and we'll keep coming back. And now we've made it to what I think is our last community store recommendation for this trip at least. And that is Happy's Game Store. Literally know nothing about it other than someone said I should come here and look for Skylanders. So we're going to do that. So that was a quick stop. It's a very small game store. And honestly, I mean, with the inventory that they have in there, I'm surprised they can stay in business. There wasn't a lot to look at there of anything really, it felt like. And so I don't know if they have a just different business model that I'm not aware of or what, but we did help them out a little bit. Got this here copy of Swap Force for the Xbox One. He told me it's been around for a while. Like they've had this copy around in the store for a while, and so he actually looked it up to see like if it had gone down in price at all, if he could knock a few bucks off of it. But no, like it's still up there. And yeah, I would have been surprised if he took anything off of this. But that just goes to show too, this is part of the reason why I do this, is these games just sit on the store shelves for months and months or years and years. And I know people who want them, but most people can't drive out to, where are we? Crawfordsville, Indiana to pick up one game. So I'm doing that for you. We're gonna list this in the shop eventually if it hasn't been there already, and find it a good home. For a while I thought that last stop was going to be the last stop of this trip, but I had to detour toward Champaign-Urbana, and if you've been watching my videos for a while, you might know that that puts me right next to another disc replay location. So I was 3 miles away. I have to stop. That's how it works. Another stop with nothing crazy, but some solid pieces that sell out fairly regularly. So driving an extra 3 miles to pick these up, I'm all for that.